And maybe an even bigger issue here, Brian, is should we be friends with pieces of trash like John Venus, people who knowingly and willingly support the exploitation, abuse, and murder of animals, people who happily support cruelty? What does it say about you that you're willing to be friends with these people? Again, the Nazi analogy, would you be friends with someone who became a Nazi? What does it say about you as a person? I think these people who are unsubscribing from you and judging you for being friends with these pieces of trash are being perfectly reasonable and sensible.
The self-proclaimed sociopath is at it again, and this time he's showing his true colors of hypocrisy. Recently, Vegan Gains released a video on YouTube critiquing Brian Turner for being friends or associating himself with John Venus. For those who are not aware, John Venus is this attention-seeking person who's on again, off again, and now on again vegan or plant-based shenanigans have gotten the attention of many. John has been receiving a whole bunch of flack for being an ex-vegan, even though people are claiming he was never vegan, yada yada yada. Personally, I think people like Vegan Gains give way too much attention to a person like John, and if they really wanted to stick it to where it hurts to John, it would be best to just ignore him and let him fade off into the abyss. The guy's content sucks. He's unauthentic. He clearly doesn't give a shit about other animals. Just let the guy's content kill itself. But whatever, this seems to be the type of shit Vegan Gains likes to harp on. Either way, Vegan Gains is now questioning the character of Brian Turner, who happens to be another vegan YouTuber and happens to be friends with John Venus.
And John and Brian are friends. Now, Brian, I want to ask you, why do you even want to be friends with human trash? Would you be friends with a Nazi? I don't really see a big difference between John Venus and a Nazi.
Vegan Gains goes on for like 10 minutes comparing John Venus to a Nazi and continues to pose the question, why would anyone like Brian Turner, who is vegan, be friends with John Venus, who supports animal exploitation, but now is vegan again or whatever, is a fake, whatever. So here's the problem. I'm no one to tell another person if they want to be friends with another individual. I don't know the relationship that John and Brian have, but clearly Vegan Gains has an issue with Brian being associated with someone like John, as he continues to question his character. I personally think this is hilarious because Vegan Gains has friends that are hunters and are meat eaters themselves. Now I know what some of you are going to say, and I guess it's going to be something similar to what Vegan Gains said.
Mike donated $2. You're friends with meat eaters and hunters, yet you think Brian shouldn't be friends with John. Yeah, the difference there, dude, is the people that I am friends with who are meat eaters, they were never vegan and then quit. So I have an understanding that, you know, the majority of people are essentially in the matrix. They were brought up a certain way, and it's hard for them to, like, understand and get out of that. But if you're someone like John, who perfectly fucking understands, and he claims to have been vegan for ethical reasons, and then goes back to supporting a Holocaust, that person's an absolute piece of shit. Why the fuck should Brian associate with someone like that? Like, again, I analogized this to being friends with a fucking Nazi. Imagine if you had a friend who was brought up in a racist household and was a Nazi. Yeah, like, you'd have some amount of sympathy and understanding for the person that, okay, they were brought up this way, even though they have horrible beliefs. They were brought up that way and kind of brainwashed. And then you teach them, hey, look, there's a better way of living. You can go not be a racist, and people shouldn't be holocausted. Then they give up, like, their racist Nazism shit, and then a few months later, they go back to being a fucking Nazi. Should you be friends with someone like that when they perfectly fucking understand that racism is wrong, that holocausts are wrong? Like, I explained all of this in the fucking video. Why is it so hard for you to understand?
I would actually agree with what Vegan Gain said here. Yes, society has a severe case of cognitive dissonance, or is living in the matrix, and they have been conditioned to believe in killing and using other sentient beings as commodities as a perfectly normal, moral, and justified reason for whatever they can come up with in today's day and age. Of course, on the other hand, we have vegans that know that other sentient beings are not commodities and do not need to be intentionally slaughtered by the trillions each year to support unsubstantiated reasons, hence why veganism exists, and will be the future as human society continues to develop. It's just unfortunate that Vegan Gains only questions the character of someone like Brian Turner and not himself, because that would mean that Vegan Gains is a hypocrite. God forbid Vegan Gains would look at himself in the mirror and be consistent with himself. As I said earlier, Vegan Gains has friends who are meat eaters and are hunters as well. Vegan Gains has clearly stated that the average consumer is fully aware about the suffering that goes on the animal agriculture business and when they buy animal flesh and animal secretions from fast food restaurants.
So Charlie is arguing that your average consumer is completely oblivious to the fact that the animals that are supplied to these fast food chains like KFC suffer horribly before they're killed. Well, I would disagree with that. I think your average person is informed enough to know that these animals really are suffering before they're killed. So no, your average person is well aware that if they're buying food from somewhere like KFC, those animals really did suffer in the animal agriculture industry. There isn't the assumption that these were grass-fed, free-range, humanely treated animals. That is just complete nonsense.
So according to Vegan Gains, the average consumer knows about the suffering of animals, yet they still decide to support the Holocaust, or the animal Holocaust, as he puts it, through purchasing animal products. So my question is, are Vegan Gains' friends average consumers as well too? Do the friends of Vegan Gains, who apparently one of them is a hunter, know that when he shoots an animal, it goes through an immense amount of unnecessary pain? These friends of Vegan Gains must be Nazis like John is, according to Vegan Gains, because they are aware of what they are doing. Are they not? Let's take it one step further. These meat eater friends of Vegan Gains, they're his friends, right? Don't you think that they would have watched some of Vegan Gains' videos and been educated on how horrible animal exploitation is? I mean, don't you think that he may have spoken to him about how horrible the animal agriculture business is at some level, or at least they may have done some research on it because they are friends with Vegan Gains? Why is Vegan Gains friends with these people if they knowingly support the animal holocaust and are aware of their own actions as he claims? What's with the double standard? Oh, I know what it is. It's just not convenient for him, and it is much easier to judge and ridicule when you're an egotistical asshole like Vegan Gains. I've said this before, guys. Vegan Gains is shady as fuck. I don't like the guy. And now he has just shown he's a hypocrite who contradicts himself. He's questioning the character of Brian Turner when he himself does not hold himself to the same standard. He's trying to impose on others. I would ask Vegan Gains to debate me on this, but we all know that won't happen because he's a giant fucking pussy. So make sure to let him know if you want. If this angered anyone, too bad. I don't like Vegan Gains, and I believe it's moments like this that hurt the vegan movement because of egotistical, sociopathic assholes like fuckface here who aren't even consistent with what they say or even mean. And if you're wondering of what I think about this topic, should people be friends with ex-vegans or meat eaters or people who are aware about their wrongdoings, I say that's on the individual. Relationships vary between people. People do really stupid shit sometimes, and each case is unique. Things get really sticky when it comes to friends and family, and we're talking about very deep psychological dilemmas that are really beyond my understanding and even potentially your understanding. So that's about it for now. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. As you know, I love to engage with all of you. Please know that I appreciate every single one of you. Please feel free to rate, subscribe, and hit the ding dong button if you haven't already. I'm the Natural Hulkster. I want to thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for the next one.